Kapoor is a new media evangelist, co-founder of Internet and Mobile Association of India, member of the International Advertising Association, India chapter, angel investor, and mentor. Welcome, Mr. Kapoor. I would now like to welcome our panel members for this discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Our first panel member, Mr. Saran Chatterjee, Vice President, Products, Flipkart. He's a savvy business manager able to drive cross-functional teams in a matrix organization structure to deliver and execute against established business goals. We have Mr. Ambarish Murthy, co-founder and CEO of Pepperfry.com, a leading e-commerce site in India. Prior to founding Pepperfry, Ambarish was the country head for eBay India. Also joining us, we have Ms. Radhika Bhairawal, Chief Marketing Officer and co-founder for ShopClose, with 14 years of work experience in diverse segments, including retail, e-commerce, fashion and lifestyle, advertising, and PR. We also have Mr. Vicky Khosla, founder and CEO of TradeIndia.com. He's played a significant role in revolutionizing the .com industry in B2B trade since the early 90s. Also joining us is Mr. K. Vaidiswaran, founder and CEO of India's first e-commerce company, IndiaPlaza.com. He's built brand scale company, raised investment of several million US dollars. Mr. Kapoor, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think we seem to be between the lunch, which the event is going to offer you guys. So probably not the best time, but we'll try to make it as interactive as possible. Most of the time you see the panelists and the moderator talking to themselves, so I decided to just change it a little bit. I wanted these ladies and gentlemen out here to speak to all you folks rather than to speak to the moderator. So I decided to convert it and said I'm going to be sitting down here and we're going to talk to all of them. So the topic for today's session really is marketplaces and how they dominate e-commerce. Now, as you can see, each one of them out here have been operating a marketplace in their own fields, and we also have someone on the panel who's actually seen the evolution of the e-commerce and from the inventory base to a market-based model. So I want to sort of quickly jump out here and ask Whitey, who's one of our senior most out here in terms of giving us an idea as to how you evolved over a period of time into being a marketplace model from where we were right in the beginning of the internet boom. So maybe you can share a few tidbits with our audience here.
Can all of you hear me? So, maybe just to start off, I think when we started off in 99 when we built the first e-commerce website, we didn't even understand the concept of either inventory or a marketplace. And I think one of the things, today it's a big debate whether you should do the marketplace or the inventory model, but it's a debate that didn't make sense for us in those days, because the most interesting thing here is the customer who's buying is actually transparent to the model. He or she doesn't care whether it's an inventory model or it's a marketplace. All he or she wants the product to be delivered in good quality, reasonable price, and a fast time. And whichever model means that is, I think, the customer is transparent. So it's a debate more amongst the practitioners and less amongst the customer. They couldn't care less. When we started off, we actually started off with inventory. Not because we didn't want to do a marketplace, but because we didn't even know what it meant. All we did is we just put together a small room in Bangalore, started taking the orders, packing by hand, and started shipping. And as we went along the business for about a couple of years, and then the .com bust happened, and in a sense nobody was interested in talking to us. I think what we realized is the cost of doing the business vis-a-vis the meager, modest returns did not make sense for us to employ so many people. And I think we arrived at the country, employed too many people for a business that was too small. And we started spending time on how can we do this business given the fact that scales are small, are likely to be small for the next 5-6 years, and yet continue to keep our heads over water. And we tried outsourcing many of those activities. We said, look, instead of employing these people on our roles, making them pack, can we get other people to pack for us? Can we get other people to pick for us? and can we get other people to ship for us? When we reached that, the next question was, if they are anyway doing it for us, does it not make sense to go to somebody who actually does it better than us because they are experts? And then we realized that the expertise of shipping a product from point A to point B was actually available at the raw point of the data, which is where the product was available in the first place. And that happened to be the winner. So over more trial and error, and I think a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors that we make, a lot of mistakes which today look very stupid, but in those days where we had no other choice but to learn on our own, we realized that the fastest way of reaching a product from point A to point B was to ship it from where the product was available to where the product has to reach, which is the customer. And we, in a sense, we can call it platform play, we can call it, but the fact is we were in a sense brokers. And that's how we evolved into it. Today, everybody calls it the marketplace, but I think we reached there simply because we tried to eliminate cost out of the business.
Thanks, Whitey. So I think Whitey's gone through a huge change, his model has gone through a huge change. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum out there, that's Saran from Flipkart. Saran, what would you like to tell us? We've all heard about Flipkart, what it does, everything. It's the big daddy, I assume. So you want to tell us what you do and how you do it and why you feel marketplace is so important? Louder.
It's working, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
So we didn't start off as a marketplace. We started off as a pure place or online retailer with our sort of own inventory. We spent time investing in the supply chain, investing in our logistics, investing in our warehouses, and the reason being from day one, the core sort of one of the values of this company has been always to be obsessed about customers. And what we realized along the way was to really deliver sort of the superior experience that we calling it sort of the Flipkart standard of experience. There is a lot of things that you need to be in control of, else you're not able to deliver that experience. So, but at the same time, what we learned along the way was the inventory-led model obviously has its shortcomings in terms of the kind of selection that you can offer. You can't just go store like everything that you want to offer. The needs of the customers are vary. So to be able to offer sort of that deep selection above and beyond sort of the core set of products that you need, that was sort of the starting point of us starting to think about sort of the marketplace model. We sort of start inviting a set of sellers that we know will bring in sort of complementary selection to above and beyond what we offer. And then what we're finding along the way is that obviously we've learned a lot. I mean, we launched it last year, and just in the last 6 months, what we've seen is that was not our bread and butter. So we've learned in terms of again, we did have a few slips along the way in terms of offering that experience, and now we're sort of going to a model where sellers are still going to be invited. It's going to be somewhat managed. We retain sort of this hybrid model where we have stuff in inventory. We will actually store products on behalf of the sellers for us to be able to leverage our logistics to be able to deliver a superior experience, both in terms of value-added services and some of the value-added services that we're finding, like a reverse logistics around COD. A lot of third-party players offer it, but it's a challenge, especially as you go deep into tier 2, tier 3. As you're expanding into fashion, being able to offer like a try and buy, to be able to offer such value-added services, you need to be in control. Otherwise, it becomes challenging.
So, Saran, we talked about, when we were talking before, we talked about your supply chain management. I think is that the success factor? Is your logistics the success factor? What is it exactly? Can you tell us?
I won't say that's the only one, but given that we've invested a lot, so the challenges of inventory, that obviously, as you said, right, there's a massive cost component. The cost component to build up this warehouse, to build out your own logistics network. Given the fact that we've already invested in that, given that our core sort of that is one of our core advantages that we at least have in this country right now. So the plan really is to leverage that in a marketplace model as well. One, to offer deep selection, and to be able to offer superior experience compared to anybody else out there.
So, question to Amrish. Amrish, you've been 2 years now setting up Pepperfry. What was your single biggest challenge when you decided to go marketplace? What was your single biggest challenge building this marketplace? You've had tweaked the model a little bit, etc. Maybe for this audience, you can share with them as to what you feel about it.
Sure. So I'll take a step back to the evolution and just share my perspective on how marketplaces are now coming of age in India. So here's the way to look at it. Right? In a market where potentially 10,000 unique items generate 90% of the sale of a market, which is the case when potentially 75-80% of all the items that are bought on the internet today are in the electronics, mobile phones, digital cameras. A lot of you would have bought stuff like that on the internet. You have fewer stock keeping units or fewer SKUs, fewer unique items, which each of which sells a lot, and therefore you're able to do a business based on the inventory of just those items, and you will still get a large volume going. However, as the market evolves and electronics, mobile phones, digital cameras, all of these things, will always remain important, but are not the only things that are being bought online. You will find that the other categories, be it, and I would say Apple to some extent, but to a larger extent categories such as home, etc., where the only reason for consumers to buy is actually the selection or the variety that you offer them, marketplace models become really, really important. So when we look, Pepperfry is a young company, right? We haven't had 8-9 years of experience or whatever, 7 years of setup time that Flipkart's had or other folks have had. We are a 2-year-old company. So when we looked at the way the market would evolve over, let's say, the next 5 years, or the next 10 years, here's what we thought. We thought there will be a lot of Indians who will want to buy mobile phones. There will be a lot of Indians who will want to buy digital cameras. They will basically look for the cheapest mobile phone, the cheapest digital camera, and whether they can get it the same day, or they really are willing to wait perhaps the next day. Right? And that is going to be a large part of the market. However, a large component of the market is also going to, in the future, come from products such as home, products such as furniture, products such as furnishings, products such as even home appliances, where the only reason that consumers will buy will be variety. So for us, marketplace was a logical reason, was a logical business model. It wasn't a convenience. It was just intrinsic. It's the intrinsic business model that a home or a large variety player needs to have. It is the marketplace model, because you can't predict to 100,000 SKUs and what they will sell, because the consumer demand is fairly spread out, right?
So I have a question, Amrish. How do you get over this perception, maybe I'm not aware of that, is that Indians typically want this touch feel. If I'm buying a double bed, on the side, I want to actually see it. How do you overcome that, or how do you tell consumers? How do you overcome that?
Sure. So, very interesting question, and I think there are two things that you have to overcome as you look to build a home business. One is, unfortunately for you as a business, there is nobody you can copy. Okay, because in India, people did not sell furniture and home products online prior to Pepperfry coming of age. Right? So I did not know whom to copy if I wanted to get my products to somebody. I did not know whom to copy if I needed to ship an item from Mungra Badshahpur to Coimbatore at the cheapest possible cost. There was nobody I could copy, right? I couldn't even go to a person like, say, a great logistics provider like Blue Dart and say, hey, I need to ship a 20,000 rupee wardrobe. I want to ship it 2,000 kilometers. What would you charge me? Blue Dart's answer typically would have been 10,000 bucks, which means that nobody's going to buy that wardrobe from me, right? So all of these things needed to be set up from scratch. That is one. The second aspect, and to your question, I think the other tough part was, especially in a market such as us, there is no established brand. So we can't go to, let's say, 3 people, buy 10,000 units of stock or 10,000 unique SKUs and say, okay, now they're in my warehouse, I will potentially now just worry about shipping them. And those were, I think, the challenges that we had. Answer the questions.
I think you have partially, but if you think looking for something like a solution. So I want to go to Radhika. Radhika, so Radhika, coming to India and doing what you're doing right now, what was the motivation? What was the incentive?
So, great question, Evan. Amrita, firstly, thanks guys, really excited to be here. So when we thought of shop clothes in 2011, we looked at the incumbents in the market, and it didn't really, ideally an online retail should reflect the offline retail in a country. In the US, you can see that very clearly. Top 20 brands in, let's say, a men's shirt attribute for about 50% of the market. Totally not true in India. Very, very heterogeneous consumer, very, very heterogeneous brands. India is better known for its markets than for its brands. So if you're looking for buying silk sarees, you're probably going to go to Chennai, Leamington Road in Bombay, Nehru Place in Delhi. So for us, we felt that, and with due respect to everybody who's been here before us, that they were really not catering to the Indian consumer, and the only way to be able to do that would be via a marketplace. And that was the conception of shop clothes. That's how we started. Right now we have somewhere around 33,000 merchants who sell on shop clothes. And most of these merchants, a lot of these merchants are from tier 2, tier 3 brands. Look at the numbers. I think there are somewhere around 40 million people who have small and medium businesses in India. 1/3 of them sell something for a living. We are a country of traders. And what better model in e-commerce, in online retail to work than a marketplace? So that was the whole idea behind it.
Thanks, thanks. So I want to come to Vicky, because Vicky, as all you know, he has a large B2B operation, and I was very excited about his B2B proposition which he has. And what really surprised me when I was talking to him, he said he's got 900 people out there in the market who go and talk to SMEs. So you want to give us a view on that as to how you build the B2B marketplace?
It's a very interesting thing. Why I built it is very interesting, because before I got into this, I didn't know how to start a computer, And I was an exporter myself, then went out to the US, became an importer. That's where this idea came to me that people are looking for information. They used to walk up to me and ask me questions like, in India, where can I buy bones, nuts, human hair, crazy things. That's when I decided to come back and start this. So that's when I started a B2B marketplace, where it gives an opportunity for small and medium entrepreneurs to market your products. People could be making the most beautiful stuff, but if they can't showcase it, what are they going to do? So that's what we try to build, but the biggest challenge, like I was talking to him and explaining to him, is explaining to an SME how to use a marketplace, and if you're going online, what you need to do. Because if you look at an SME, being an SME myself once upon a time, I understand he's director of finance, director of marketing, director of production, director of everything. So he has no time. But, one advice I always give everybody, whoever's ever planning to go online, going to e-retailing or go to a B2B marketplace, if you don't have 10 minutes a day, don't try online. You've got to have that time. And anybody who spends a little bit of time will gain from it. And B2B marketplaces could be very useful for you, not only to sell your products, but if you want to become retailers, for sourcing products is going to be another very useful thing. So that's, and the challenge, like I told you, my guys, we've got offices all over the country, and our guys go and meet them, explain to them how it's going to benefit you, how it's different from a website that you say you have, because we give you value-added services also, which you can't. You're not a technology person, you meant that well, and you can't keep adding new features. Well, in the marketplace, we keep adding new features which you can use. So that's exactly what we try to do here.
Great, thanks. So Amrish mentioned that he had nobody to really look up to, so you were building your own standard. I think Radhika talked about the fact that people don't buy brands in India, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. So from a question to all of you, and maybe we can start with Vaiti. Vaiti, do you believe that over a period of time, brands can use the marketplace successfully?
Yes, I think they can, but I have to I don't think it's going to be a very simple answer saying yes so easily, and that's why I have to think. I think the answer will be yes, but there will be a lot of boundary conditions. There will be a lot of challenges that they need to. And I think one of the key that brands will face is especially existing offline brands, which means brands that have not been built over the internet but have existed offline and want to come online. I guess that's what you're talking about. They already come with, I'm using the word very loosely and very carefully, with their own baggage. How the brand has to be treated, how it has to be positioned, and whatever the merits and demerits of those arguments are, the fact of the matter is many of those boundary conditions may get diluted in a marketplace, simply because that's the nature of the beast. And therefore, I think they can succeed, they can use it to their benefit, but it may require a significant leap of faith before they start experiment with it, and they have to do it very carefully, provided
They need to be flexible with what the environment that they want to be. Vicky, you want to say something?
I personally feel brands will really start selling online. I'll tell you why. If you look at internet population, it's about 11 to 12% today. While if you look at the US, it's 77%, and China about 35%. As the internet penetration happens, and the net penetration will probably happen more in the smaller cities. And brands will never go to these small cities. And that's where the market for these brands will come in. And small cities is where everything is happening, and those people are really open to ideas, new things, and things like that. So I feel it will be a big market for them.
Radhika, what do you feel? Because you work with some brands.
Yes, completely. So, Neville, going back to what I said earlier, the beauty about India is that they're not just those international and national brands. There are multiple regional and local brands which continue to be equally popular. Nallis, silk saris. I would call it an absolutely national, international brand, but it is a hugely popular brand. And for these brands to come online and start selling, definitely marketplace is a great opportunity. For a merchant to come online and sell at Shopclues, they just need three things: product, picture, and price. We take care of everything else.
Do you have a training force which actually goes and trains, let's say, Nalli as to how to do
So we don't have a training force. So how we look at merchants is that we have strategic accounts wherein an account manager is given to the merchants. But apart from that, we have an intensive training solutions, training content that we've built. We have a Shopclues University wherein we send out so much information to the merchant and we handhold them through the whole process. Make it simple for them, and honestly it's a meritocracy, right? As a merchant, if you want to be successful, there's so much training we can do. At the end of the day, you do have to log into your back-end account, to your store manager, and manage it actively. And we see it very clearly on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. Merchants who are involved, merchants who manage their back-end, the store manager on a regular basis, and I think Becky Grace would be there, they do phenomenally well through this meeting.
Nice.
Two additions. Two aspects. One is, I think most brands are already online. I think the nuance is whether they'll come online using the marketplace model. I actually don't see the big brands coming online using the marketplace model. I think if the brand becomes big enough, there will be somebody who will be ready to buy inventory from them and sell that inventory online. Right? So I don't see the marketplace actually having serious applicability for large brands, because the person who would buy might be either Flipkart or let's say a merchant or some intermediary or a trader who's then basically selling the brand's product online. So I don't see brands directly benefiting from the marketplace or using the marketplace model to do. And the second thing that I think is something that I think I alluded to, I actually think marketplaces are the world's greatest leveler and equalizer when it comes to having a business. Marketplaces are places where small businesses, small brands actually are able to truly scale, right? Because it's a level playing field. It's not, I have, let's say it's not I have inventory and I can therefore, I need to sell that inventory. It's, I don't have inventory. Nobody has, everybody gets the same rights. Everybody is common, and therefore it's a level playing field. I think that's why marketplaces truly are the greatest equalizers and levelers in the world. And they can get businesses to grow, they can get businesses to expand.
So, Saran, question for you before we open to the audience. Since we are running short of time,
I
you want to
want to
say
give one data point there. So true. So, Tmall in China, right? It's built around brands. It's a brand marketplace. And guess what? The number one selling brand on Tmall actually is not a global brand. It's a homegrown brand, local, that just build great products and people just love them. So exactly. So it's a level playing field. It really depends on how you showcase your products and how sort of at the end of the day how you make it appealing to the customers of the users. That was one data point. The second data point was I have been in explicit conversations with brands like the Samsungs, the Nikes, the Pumas. And while it's not really about selling, what these brands care about, for instance, an explicit conversation with, say, one of a shoe brand is, listen, we have an online presence, we have a bunch of these offline stores, but we really need to be reaching these audiences in new and interesting ways. And guess what? On Flipkart, the value proposition for them was not about selling and us sourcing from whoever. It was more about, am I reaching these audiences at various touch points of their journey? And on Flipkart, if we have about 80 million unique visitors coming there every next month, for this brand, that they salivate at that. Right? So they're saying, hey, listen, I don't want to put up some random store and I don't want to sort of make sure my products are available to so I can sell. It's about what kind of an experience can you give me that I can really showcase my brand in interesting ways. Where if this user really is not coming to say the Puma store in online Puma store or the online Nike store, I want to sort of connect with that audience when they are on Flipkart with my customized experience. So there definitely is a need for the brand, but that need is not about just selling. The need is about connecting with the audience because that's what the brands care about.
Radhika, you ask.
Yes. So I have something to add to both these gentlemen here. Said, agreed, connecting with the brand as well. But tier 2, tier 3 cities, Ottawa, Ranchi, in this store community, you think about it that way as well. For us, Kentaro, Whirlpool, all these brands actually have online official stores at ShopCluse. So they sell, they deliver, they install, but they're selling through a marketplace. It's an amazing channel for brands of any size. When we think about brands, we shouldn't just be thinking about the Nikes and the Pumas of the world. There are multiple brands, multiple categories, multiple brands, and it just, I feel the marketplace works beautifully for all brands, all sizes.
Great, thanks. So, in case all you folks out here, small, medium size, if you guys want to sort of list at all these marketplaces, if you haven't, please do that. So, with this, we just open up to the audience. If I can see so many hands going up. So, we just have exactly 10 minutes because people are feeling hungry, is what I'm getting SMSs. So, first one. Just give your name and who are you addressing the question?
Hi, this is Saloni Sambhur. I have a question for everybody. One of the biggest problems in the marketplace model is managing the customer satisfaction and fulfillment. I don't think every company, especially the smaller ones, they only have their own network and build all of that. So how do you really manage that? Because that is a crucial component, right? Because if your website, all of that's great, but if you give a bad experience, the customer's not going to come back again.
So, take that.
Okay, so this is everybody answering. So I think it's a great question. And I think one of the biggest challenges for most marketplaces in any world, in any part of the world, is how do you standardize the customer experience that you're able to provide to the buyer. And I think there are bunches of things you can do, right? So eBay does it through a fairly elaborate system of checks and balances, which is called trust and safety, right? So they have infinite data when it comes to how transactions happen, the nature of transactions as serviced by merchants on eBay, etc., etc. And then there is another model which is actually more prevalent in India, which is called the managed marketplace model, where you take on aspects where, let's call them moments of truth, where moments of truth that customers, let's say, that happen with customers are actually controlled by the marketplace itself. So which means logistics, which means shipping, which means packaging and so on. I think if you manage to do that right, and there are complexities involved, so nobody gets it right 100% of the time. But if you manage to do that right, you actually manage to build a lot of the standardization, etc. in the space. Just to give you a shameless Pepperfry plug, Pepperfry is a managed marketplace, where we only expect our sellers to do the following: have great products. Period. After that, everything is managed by Pepperfry, which includes getting the items live, listed, X, Y, Z, shipped, when the buyer buys, managing the entire process, communicating with the buyer, all of it. And I think that works. It helps standardize the model. I'm not saying we get it right 100% of the time, but what we are able to do is we are able to provide a really wide variety of products which otherwise would not have come online. Because those sellers and those merchants would not have been able to use a laptop or use a computer or be able to provide that variety online. I think that's how marketplaces have evolved and will evolve, continue to evolve in India.
Radhika, you had something or? Second question? Yeah.
This is related to what Mr. Andresh said now. My name is Suguna. Marketplace as a concept, how do you think it will reach rural India where the end consumer is not that techno-savvy?
I missed it.
She says, how will marketplace reach rural India? The smaller cities you spoke about.
Right. Great question, and I think Saran and I were talking about that earlier. It's the mobile penetration. I mean, India is just an amazing country in terms of, things, we just leapfrog stuff. Not every house got a landline, but every person has a cell phone. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to see internet penetration go up through the mobile phone, and we will see more commerce enablers coming in through that.
Thank you.
I'll just add to that. One of the recent Google conferences, they told us that Google is getting more searches through mobile than they're getting through this. So having a mobile version and mobile-friendly things is the way to go forward also. That you've got to keep in mind.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. So there's one gentleman here.
Hi, my name is Bilal. I run a printing company. Now, the question is that in the marketplaces, you generally have fixed items. You cannot customize them. How about basically selling, let's say, a mobile phone where I want somebody's picture or something personalized? Is that the second wave of marketplaces personalization of products?
Actually marketplaces can work either way, customized, non-customized products. It depends entirely on your user experience. So if the checkout flow of a site enables customization, then marketplaces can cater really well. So just to give you an idea. And I'll also answer, I think, the lady's question from a supply side standpoint. From a demand side standpoint, I think panels indicated how mobile, etc. will happen. So take Pepperfry for example. 30% of our products on site are customizable by the buyer when checking out. Okay, and that's basically through the interface you build. And in categories such as us, we actually allow customers to change sizes, colors, washes, the works. Right? We are actually a mass customization site. You can technically come onto Pepperfry and suppose you were looking to buy a coffee table. Odds are you will get not only 1,000 types of coffee table, each of them will be in 7 colors each, and you can change the dimensions as per your requirement. So the reason we are able to do that is we actually have a bank of people, merchants who work with us at the back end and produce goods to order. Right? So that's the complexity of a refined marketplace. Just to add to your, I think that marketplaces expand. You will find supply and you will find merchandise actually coming from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Just to give you an example, one of my largest supply sources or bases of supply is a small town called Churu, which is actually famous in India as being one of the hottest places in India. It's somewhere in the middle of Rajasthan, and they make great products. And so, as marketplaces truly scale, and you go and look for truly unique products, you will find the unique products actually do not, and you're able to give value. Sorry, that's the third aspect of marketplaces not being discussed. Marketplaces are able to deliver tremendous amounts of value to consumers because they're able to bypass the middleman. Right? So if you're truly about bypassing the middleman, you will go to places which are direct at source. And therefore, tier 2, tier 3 supply will also become a large component of how marketplace is growing.
Okay. We have one more question. Time for one more question.
Hi, my name is Bhavan. My question is for Vicky. This is, we have been talking to B2C majorly because of the Flipkart. But how about B2B, like maybe from importers and stuff to the factories and the other vendors around?
Trade India is basically a B2B where manufacturers and suppliers come and showcase their products through what we call catalogs, and people from outside or India both can access them, see them, contact them. But in B2B, first level of contact happens in the marketplace, but then you go offline because the volumes are large, and if you want to buy 10,000 towels, you've got to first have a sample. You got to approve it. You got to look at things. So I would say B2B marketplaces are all over the world in a very infant stage where only you can showcase your products, but transactions really don't happen as of now. For that, you got to have escrow accounts. You got to have inspection agencies. So it's a little stage. I think 2 years, 3 years down the line, we would be looking at something like that happening.
Looking forward to it.
I just want to add to that. So we are actually starting a listing format which is called Shop News Wholesale, which will be more in terms of the businesses selling to small businesses. And this will be products that will be sold in lots of 20, 100, so that would be transactional. Of course, nowhere close to the scale of what Vicky's doing, but this is a good start, and very excited about how that will move forward.
Thanks. But by special demand, there's one question for the lady in orange. She sent a message through to me.
This is Madhuri from Buddha.
We can't hear you.
I'm Madhuri from Buddha, and I'm addressing this question from the gentleman from Webfront. I want to see your website for the first time when you just launched, and I saw a whole lot of furniture there. Generally, you don't see furniture as such a high percentage of your product assortment. And I remember thinking that it's a matter of time when, it's just a matter of time when furniture will just fade away. But I saw it this morning, and you still have a lot of furniture there. How do you justify your cost of logistics? Shipping so much furniture, on your website.
You've been followed, my friend.
I mean, it's a pleasure to be followed by her.
What are you doing different? When you compare your website to other website, what is it that you're doing different? In your warehousing, your logistics. How can you justify having so much furniture on your website?
So actually, interestingly, furniture is about half our business. So let me hark back to how it all started. So I used to work at eBay, right? So we sold a lot of mobile phones, sold books, sold fashion. One knew that home, for example, was an area which was going to be truly spectacular. And I knew three things that would happen, or Indians would require. First was that Indians needed variety in home products, especially in furniture. You go to a large store, and let's take a large format retail store which sells furniture. At best, if you're looking for beds, my guess you get 5 options of beds. If you want more, odds are that somebody will pick up a catalog and say, I can make this for you, right? So a lot of the experience that was actually happening in India was actually a catalog building experience where customers, to your earlier question, and I'm sorry I didn't answer it completely, will not get to touch and feel the product. They actually never get to see the product. And that is the nature of the experience that existed in India at that point in time. So we said, why don't we actually build out something which will provide a great experience, allow customers to see a lot of stuff. So we went one day and we identified all of these small places, Churu, Jodhpur, etc. Saranpur, where there is amazing work that's done on furniture. We realized that if we could just get those products into a Bombay, we would be able to sell those products at 50% cheaper than anybody in Bombay can, and we'd still make 40% on it. Right? So it was a great business. It's a great business model. You make a lot of money on it, right? So we actually went hell-bent on getting furniture there. Today, it's actually half my business. I sell crores of furniture in a month. And I have more than, I think just in furniture, 14,000 items to choose from.
Do you have a centralized warehouse in Bombay?
Yeah, and so how do we do it? This was the easy part. We knew that the demand existed. The customers were there and answering. The tough part was as follows. Furniture would be available or manufactured in 5-6 locations in India. It would actually be bought. We have sold furniture items to 1,160 cities inside India, right? So it's available in 5 places. It has been bought by customers in 1160 cities. The issue is, how do you ship? How do you get products from place A to place B? It's not a mobile phone. It's not a digital camera. I can't give it to a courier company and say, hey, guys, please ship it and please deliver it tomorrow. So what we actually invested in, our largest investment, Pepperfry, unfortunately or fortunately for us, is a very, very supply and logistics side of the company. We don't advertise. We have never been on TV. We don't do whatever. So all of our growth is basically word of mouth, right? So what we make investments in is potentially supply chain. So we set up multi-hubs. I now cover off 11 cities. I have hubs in each city, including Bombay. Actually, from Mumbai. We set up our own fleet where we subcontracted, got people involved, set up delivery teams, set up arrangements with carpenters across, I don't know, today we have, I think, carpentry arrangements in 76 cities, where if there is anything that's required from an assembly standpoint, etc., that can be taken care of. So you have to solve the ecosystem. We had, like I said in the beginning, we didn't know what to do, but we learned it along the way. Today, Amish,
We'll have to cut you off here because everybody is hungry and I've been asked to finally conclude the session.
So I first thank furniture and how to
But I have to thank the panelists, ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for the panelists out here.